One more thing. Taste is personal, but quality is universal. The biggest change is the absence or the lowering of the distortion in the mid-range. It opens up everything, every aspect of the sound reproduction. The change is remarkable, and although everybody expects the mid-range and soundstage to be opening up and being better, in fact the low end gets more clarity as well. You cannot change the behavior of nature, so we are bound to have a curvy loudspeaker design.
สวัสดีครับผมเคยได้คุยกับมิสเตอร์ลอเรนซ์ดิกกี้ในความเป็นมาของVivid Audio เกี่ยวกับปรัชญาการออกแบบและจุดแข็งของเขานะครับวันนี้เราอยู่ที่ Comfort Sound อยู่กับมิสเตอร์อีวานเวอร์เคิร์กที่จะมาบอกว่า GIYA Cu มีจุดเด่นอะไรที่เปลี่ยนแปลงอะไรที่ต้องฟังให้ได้เดี๋ยวติดตามนะครับ How does a new GIYA push the Vivid Audio DNA?
We believe that it's the logical next step for an engineering-led company to keep on developing and keep on searching for better ways to do what you have been done before. And we like to think we succeeded.
What is the biggest change from the previous GIYA?
The biggest change is the absence or the lowering of the distortion in the mid-range. It opens up everything, every aspect of the sound reproduction by taking away the feeling of the low end and the top end.
What will the listener hear first in the new GIYA?
Probably will hear his well-known music really well for the very first time. The change is remarkable, and although everybody expects the mid-range and soundstage to be opening up and being better, in fact the low end gets more clarity as well, and that total sum is very, very good.
How much the Moya technology deployed to new GIYA?
It's used in more ways than that meet the eye. It's not only the copper caps that we developed for the Moya range or for the Moya speakers, but also what we learned in the vacuum infusing and the use of less resin for our cabinets. So the lighter cabinets and the copper cap drivers together with a different crossover are what define the trickle-down technology from Moya into GIYA copper.
Why new GIYA cabinet? It's the same, look like the same, and shape is still important for the sound.
You cannot change the behavior of nature, so we are bound to have a curvy loudspeaker design, and of course we have looked into presenting it in a different way, but to be fair and to be honest, that would be an iteration of what we did before, and being on the market with our GIYAs for 17 years, now we have carved our own little niche, and I think the acceptance of our form factor is bigger than before.
The GIYA copper add copper cap, right, into the mid-range. Why we focus on the mid-range first?
The reason for that is that the influence on the mid-range is far bigger than on the top end or on the bass. So the result is very noticeable on the mid-range, but would be much lower on the low end or the top end.
What does the copper technology improve most real listening?
We talk about removing things, but let's say that we add some things. And what we add is the pleasure of listening to music. You get closer to the original venue. Think of it as somewhat like a time machine transporting you to the original recording venue. And that's a pretty nice trick to do. So you will have a new experience with every record you have known before. So yeah, it's worth going into the GIYA Copper and rediscovering your full record collection.
New GIYA often pair with Mola.
Yes.
What makes the combination work so well?
To explain this, the combination is made simply because I used to be the distributor for both brands, and 7 years ago started working together for both brands as international sales director. A lot of people in my peer group, I was a distributor before, they knew what I was capable of, and they said, well, if you do either Mola or Vivid together, and they would be a Mola or a Vivid distributor, they say, send me a piece, I'm interested. And in the end, almost all of them got it together. So that's the main reason we exhibit together. The second is, why do they work so well together? Is because they have the same goal, and the same goal is real engineering with, in the end, presenting better music. Taking away distortion is for both brands one of the most distinctive features.
What should Thai audiophile should be focused on during set up the new GIYA?
I think that it's not just on the GIYA Copper that you have to, in general, setting up a speaker system is something that you learn over time. There's no substitute for mileage. So if you have done it 100 times, it can be in your own room, but do it again and again. Trust your own ears. Trust your own judgment. You are the one that has to listen to it. My advice always with a Vivid is, and most speakers, start narrower than you would expect. Once you do that, it becomes easier, in my opinion. There are many people that have different ways of dealing with setup, but in the end, your experience will tell you what you like best. Is it always the best? I don't know. I can only speak for myself. What I hear, I know that when I've done setup, people tend to like it, tend to believe what we present is very good. But still, it's my decision to put it the way we do it. Yesterday in setup, I don't do it alone. You never do it alone. Of course, you can try for yourself, but if it's such an important event as this, you have more people and you have more input and you listen to suggestions, and together you get to the finest result.
Give me one message for Thai audiophile should remember about new GIYA.
Do yourself a favor and listen to the new GIYA Copper.
Talk about your partner.
Well, we recently started with Bulldog Audio as our distribution partner. Having said so, recently we spoke for the first time a year ago, and it was apparent that they took it really serious. So they invited me over to come and have a long discussion about the merits of Vivid Audio, the good things and the bad things. You know, every company has good and bad things, and we want people to understand that we know how to resolve those. Then Mu and his partner Pom came over to the launch of the GIYA Copper in the same version as we have here, the GIYA Copper G2 with the Mola, etc. They came to the Singapore event and they decided to become our distribution partner. I believe that is the right way. It's not a good idea to go into something blind. You have to understand how the companies work, both of you. By taking it serious, it means for you as the end customer, you get competent people handling your purchase. And that is like I said, very important to us.
Would you please talk to Thai customer?
What shall I say? I am the international sales director of Vivid Audio. I am the international sales director of Mola. Of course, our products are the best in the world. You would expect me to say that. However, I sold my distribution company 7 years ago to become part of both companies. That is a major change in anybody's life. I would not do that if I did not believe these products to be amongst the best ever. And the last 7 years, in my opinion, have proved for both companies that they are in a class of their own. Maybe, just maybe, it can be that it's not your taste, but it's a fabulous product. Thank you.
สำหรับคนบางคนอาจจะมองว่าGIYAคือประติมากรรมแต่สำหรับนักฟังแล้วนะครับผมว่าเป็นคำถามที่เราต้องพูดลึกกว่านั้นนะครับเราจะมองลำโพงที่รูปร่างลักษณะหรือว่าฟังเสียงและไม่เห็นมันเลยและนี่คือตัวตนของGIYA